how else could I, with very little cost to myself as a globalist, interrupt America's protein supply? Screwworms would be a nice weapon because all you have to do is let them come back. Very low cost, right?
The agenda.
And so this paradigm that I've been working under, I predicted, my paradigm did, that Nord Stream would be cut and that they would target BASF, the biggest chemical company in the world there in Ludwigshafen, Germany. So Masako Ganaha and I went to Ludwigshafen twice at BASF. It's a 10 square kilometer plant. And we, on the second trip, we were inside getting a tour. And I asked the guy giving the man giving us a tour, what happens if BASF gets interrupted? And he said, BASF is dead because Nord Stream feeds BASF, right? And they need it to make many thousands of chemicals, including nitrogenous fertilizers, which BASF at Ludwigshafen, the first place they ever used the Haber-Bosch process to make ammonia-based fertilizers was 1914, right? The year the canal opened, Panama Canal. And so it's really important. So I thought, using the old Carver matrix, which is something every young special forces soldier learns, Carver matrix is how you select targets. When you got all these targets on the menu you could hit, which one should you actually hit? First, you need to know the commander's intent. I'm going somewhere with this. It's very important. And so if the commander's intent, the globalists, let's say, if their intent is to deindustrialize Europe and to cause global famines and to cause population reduction, what would I do to affect the commander's intent to deindustrialize Europe and decrease the food supply and cause all kinds of other havoc? You want to do as much havoc as you can with as little effort, right? And so on the Carver matrix, criticality, accessibility, recuperability, vulnerability, effect, right? These are the you put all your potential targets on the list and you number them. I would say take out Nord Stream to take out BASF. That would be number one target, right? So that's why Masako Ganaha and I went to BASF twice, because I'm like, wow, that's one-stop shopping. And boom, they took it out. I had bought an iPad, separate iPad, just to track Nord Stream flows, because you could see how many cubic meters per second were flowing through Nord Stream through a certain website. And one night or one day, it just went to zero. And I said, because that iPad was for nothing but Nord Stream flows. And so I started calling around like, hey, looks like it's gone to zero. Is something wrong with the site? Then the next thing you know, we see it on TV, bubbling to the sea, right? It was somebody destroyed it. Of course, the United States and others blamed it on Russia. Why would Russia destroy their own pipeline? We clearly did it. It was either the United States or space aliens, one or the other, right? So likewise, I used that same paradigm to predict Groningen gas field would be shut in Netherlands, which is in northern Netherlands. I went there in March of 2023, and I think I was on the Jordan Peterson show with Ava Vlardingerberg. I may have said it on that show that I think that they're going to close Groningen. And many people are like, that's insane. They would never close Groningen. That's the biggest gas field in Europe. And I said, bingo. Carver matrix, not that most people even know what I'm talking about. I would take out Nord Stream to take out BASF, to reduce the nitrogenous fertilizer and other important things that are needed, very important. And I would take out Groningen, and it's closed. Groningen is closed. It's not going to reopen, right? So now you've got the number one, and I was publishing these things in advance. These aren't post facto. I thought they were going to do that. No, if you really are confident in your predictive abilities, you need to publish it in advance, right? And screwworms, when you were in Panama and you went to the Darien Gap, kudos to you, by the way, we talked about the screwworm program in Panama. About 3 years ago, people can look up my name and screwworms. This is a flesh-eating worm. The larvae they eat all flesh, right? I mean, all like mammals, including kill people, right? But they kill cattle, have cost the United States billions of dollars in cattle and sheep and goats and kill dogs and people. But our previous generations fought the screwworms out of the United States, fought them down through Mexico, down through Central America, and they had a screwworm program in Panama. They still have it, where they irradiate billions of flies and drop them from airplanes and that sort of thing in boxes. And the fly that causes the larvae are screwworms. They only mate once. An entomologist discovered that in a study of these flies. So if you irradiate the males, you can drop out billions of those. And if the females mate with the irradiated male, then she won't produce any offspring. So this has controlled that. The more you know about it, the more you see how intricate their plan is. It's like an old work of art. Unfortunately, it's evil art. So the screwworms. So I reached out to the USDA facility in Panama maybe 3 years ago. I could send you the emails later. And I asked if I could tour the facility. And they said no. And the way that they said it, I've dealt with our government and many others a lot. I've just done this for too many years. It's hard to BS me, right? I'm like, that's a cover up.
They're manufacturing these worms.
That's our facility and the USDA facility in Panama that's irradiating and dropping the worms by airplane across Panama, right? And so I reached out to them about 3 years ago. I'll send you the email when we get off if you want to use it.
Yeah.
And it's just a short email. Can I come, look at the facility, blah, blah, blah. But the way that they responded, it's got a certain smell to it. I've just done this for too many years. They might be professional public affairs people, and I'm professional at catching when they're hiding something, right? And the reason I even reached out to them is because I thought that something might be up, because under the paradigm that I'm operating under, I'm like, screwworms. What else could I, with very little cost to myself as a globalist, interrupt America's protein supply? Screwworms would be a nice weapon, because all you have to do is let them come back. Very low cost, right? So I reached out to them, and they're like, no, I'll send you the emails. And so now there's screwworms outbreaking all over Central America. They're moving their way up, and they're out of control. Just as I predicted in writing. I predicted it in writing, right? So, and people are like, screwworms, what are those? And I'm like, I think you're going to see them in the future. Obviously, I don't know, but I know the level of sophistication of these people. It is extremely high. And if I were them on my Carver matrix, the cost of letting the screwworms get back is practically zero. You know what I mean? In fact, you can take some money back, stop irradiating flies, keep dropping them out, but not irradiated. You'll increase the number of screwworms by sending them non-irradiated males, right?
The agenda.